Thousands of Vancouver owners woke up this month and realized the truth: they can't sell, they can't rent, and they can't afford to keep it. Their condo isn't an investment anymore, it's a liability. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly why this is happening with real numbers from this month in Metro Vancouver and the 3 moves savvy owners are making right now to get out before it gets worse. My name is Dan J. Reilly with eXp Realty. I work with buyers and sellers across Metro Vancouver every single day. And right now, the condo market is doing something very interesting that we haven't really seen in a long time. If you own a condo in Vancouver, Burnaby, Richmond, Surrey, Coquitlam, or Langley, watch this all the way through because the move you make in the next 90 days decides whether you walk out with equity or you get buried. Let's break it down. Problem 1, you can't sell. Active listings across Metro Vancouver are sitting at 14,774 properties as of March 2026. That's 38% above the 10-year seasonal average. Sellers are stacked deep. The condo sales to active listing ratio is sitting at 15.7%. Technically, that's a balanced market on paper, but for sellers, it feels like a buyer's market because pricing power is gone. Here's what's fueling supply. Pre-sales from 2021 and 2022 are completing right now. Thousands of units, Metrotown, Lougheed, Brentwood, King George, South Surrey, Marine Gateway, all flooding the resale pool at the exact same time, and it's not stopping. There are still a ton of units under construction across Metro Vancouver set to complete over the next 24 months, and the supply story is just getting started. Translation: every seller is competing with an investor who paid pre-sale pricing 3 years ago and is now trying to dump at break even. It's also not unusual right now to walk into a pre-sale completion building and find a dozen units of the exact same floor plan all listed at the same time. That kind of inventory sitting inside a single building is something we did not see 2 or 3 years ago. Price cuts aren't optional anymore, they're the price of entry. And here's the kicker: the BC home flipping tax has been in effect since January 2025. Sell within 365 days of buying and you're handing 20% of your profit to the province. Sell between 366 and 730 days, the rate scales down to 0. So investors who want inside that 24-month window, frozen, they can't sell without taking a massive haircut, which keeps the supply locked and the demand thin and the market sideways. And it gets way worse. Problem 2, you can't rent it out either. Well, at least not profitably. Let me run the math on a typical scenario. Take a 1-bedroom in downtown Vancouver, bought at $750,000 in 2022 at a 1.79% rate, 5-year fixed with 20% down. The mortgage payment is roughly $2,500 a month. Add strata, property tax, and insurance, you're about $3,300 all in. Market rent for a downtown 1-bedroom right now is about $2,400 a month based on rentals.ca data for March 2026. So the owner is bleeding $800 to $900 a month every single month, roughly 10 grand a year out of their pocket to keep the lights on in someone else's home. And here's the part that crushes people. This isn't anyone's fault. They did the math when they bought, they ran reasonable assumptions, and the math just changed under their feet. BC's 2026 rent cap is 2.3%, down from 3% last year. So you can't just raise the rent to fix it. The government has that door locked. Then I'll just leave it empty is an even worse move. The BC speculation and vacancy tax just jumped to 1% of your property's assessed value per year. For Canadian owners, 3% for foreign owners on a $750,000 condo. That's $7,500 a year just to leave it sitting. If your condo is in the city of Vancouver proper, the empty homes tax stacks on top of that. So you're stuck, rent at a loss, or pay City Hall the privilege of holding a vacant asset. This isn't a rental property anymore, it's a subsidy. And that's before we factor in vacancy. Every month a unit sits empty between tenants is another full month of carrying costs out of your pocket. The pool of qualified renters who can comfortably afford $2,400 a month plus utilities is thinner than most people realize. Problem 3, you can't afford to keep it. 3 things are hitting at once. 1, mortgage renewals. If you're locked in between 2020 and 2022 at a sub 2%, your renewal is coming up at 4% or higher right now. So on a $600,000 mortgage, that's an extra $600 to $900 a month out of nowhere. A lot of owners are walking into renewals expecting a small bump and finding out their payment just jumped 30% overnight. 2, special assessments. Older buildings across the lower mainland are hitting 20, 30, 40-year marks. Envelope work, rain screening, roof, plumbing, full rain screen envelope projects routinely run $50,000 to $100,000 per unit. Smaller assessments still hit $15,000 to $30,000 due in 30 to 90 days, and a lot of the times they require it in cash. If you're sitting in an older wood frame building and your strata council hasn't ordered a depreciation report in years, you should be nervous. 3, strata fees. Insurance premiums are up, contingency reserve fund contributions after BC's strata reform laws kicked in, and in some buildings, monthly fees have jumped 30 to 50% over the last 2 years. And don't sleep on your strata insurance deductible. In some buildings, it's now sitting north of $250,000. One burst pipe in the unit above yours, and that's coming out of your pocket. Most owners have no idea this is even on the table. Add it all up. Your cost of ownership is meaningfully higher than the day you bought. Your rent is flat, your sale price is down, and there isn't a door that isn't closing. That's the trap. Now here's a dangerous mistake I see most condo owners making right now. They wait. They tell themselves the market will come back. They listen to the friend at the dinner party who says rates are going to drop, just hang on, and they convince themselves their unit is special, that their building is different, that they'll just price it $50,000 higher than the comps and somehow find that one buyer. 6 months later, they've burned through 6 months of mortgage payments, 6 months of strata, the special assessment notice has arrived, the renewal hit harder than expected, and now they're forced to sell into an even softer market with even more inventory. The owners who move out early walk out with equity, and the owners who wait walk out with way less. In a falling market, the cost of waiting isn't theoretical, it's measured in dollars every single month. So what do you actually do? Here are the 3 moves to make right now. Move 1, get a real valuation, not a realtor.ca's estimate, not a number off the top of your agent's head from 2021, a live comparative market analysis based on what's actually selling in your specific building this month. Most owners are 8 to 15% off reality, and that gap is your exit window and it's closing. If your CMA tells you the truth and you don't like it, that's the truth talking, so don't shoot the messenger. Move 2, list strategic, not emotional. In this market, the first 2 weeks are the only 2 weeks that matter. Day 1, you have a flood of buyers looking at your listing. By day 30, you have a trickle. Price ahead of the curve, not at the curve. Professional photos, aggressive social and MLS marketing, day 1 exposure across every channel. That's how you sell in 30 days versus 180. The condos sitting on the market for 6 months aren't sitting because nobody wants them. They're sitting because they were priced for a market that no longer exists. Move 3, know your exit math before you list. Flipping tax exposure, mortgage break penalty, capital gains if it's an investment, realtor commissions, closing costs. I run the sheet for every single client before we even talk about price, because knowing your walkaway numbers changes every decision you make from there. It tells you whether to sell now, wait for the 24-month flipping tax mark, refinance instead, or rent out a controlled loss while you reposition. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. There is only your math. If you bought a condo between 2018 and 2022, you're not crazy, you're not behind, you're caught in the worst macro setup Metro Vancouver condo owners have faced in a generation. The play isn't to panic. The play isn't to bury your head. The play is to know your numbers, get the right head on your specific unit, and move while you still have options. If you own a condo in Metro Vancouver and any of this hit home, don't sit on it. The supply data over the next 6 months will decide what your unit is worth for the next 3 years. Comment the word market below, and I'll send you my full Metro Vancouver market update guide for this month. Charts, data, neighborhood by neighborhood breakdown, and it's all free. If you want a real conversation about your specific unit, link in the description to book a 15-minute one-on-one with me. No pressure. We can look at your exit math together. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I post the truth about the BC market. Again, my name's Dan J. Reilly, and I'll see you in the next one.